Today on CTV News at 5, some southern Albertans use an animal ambassador to cause an uproar about logging in the Castle region. Plus, the Police Special Operations Unit makes another drug bust in Lethbridge. And workers at a southern Alberta ammonite mine have unearthed the remains of a marine dinosaur.
You're watching CTV News.
Good afternoon, I'm Alicia Fieldberg. A newly formed environmental coalition is taking legal action to stop logging in the Castle Special Area west of Pincher Creek. The court challenge is the latest move to stop clear-cut logging in the popular recreation area. Terry Vogt reports.
With wild grizzly bears still in hibernation, environmental groups brought a movie stunt bear to emphasize the importance of the Castle Special Area, a region of the province that's home to more than 250 rare or at-risk species, including the grizzly.
There is plenty of science to demonstrate that things like clear-cut logging, oil and gas industry, and all of the roading that's associated with it is what has basically led to the extirpation of grizzly bears here and everywhere else.
Now Timberwolf, a newly formed coalition of environmental organizations, says it's planning 2 legal actions aimed at protecting the public lands west of Pincher Creek, a region that was declared a special management area by the province as far back as 1998.
Those of us who are downstream water drinkers, and that includes all of us, should be concerned about activities in our headwaters, including logging.
Retired fish and wildlife biologist Lauren Fitch says fish populations in the area have declined drastically since the 1970s. Scientists say the Castle Special Place is a landscape of unusual worth that deserves protection.
In France, in Paris, they protect the Louvre and all of their artwork there because these are considered national treasures. Well, this is a national treasure too. And more importantly, it's a critical area for the watershed of the Oldman River.
Effects of the latest clear-cut logging are already visible. Only a few weeks ago, these snow-covered ridges were hidden by trees. Timberwolf says the government has an obligation to provide legal protection, and if the Premier won't intervene, they'll go to the courts in hopes of getting action. Environmental groups say so far the province is only paying lip service to protecting the watershed in this part of the province. They say they're now prepared to take a more aggressive and controversial approach to saving the castle. Terry Vogt, CTV News, near Beaver Mines.
Timberwolf has already initiated a land claim proceeding on behalf of rare and endangered animal and plant species in the Castle. They're also preparing a separate action against the Alberta government for failing to protect endangered species. A Lethbridge man who killed his wife and her boyfriend more than 2 decades ago will not be granted early parole. In 1993, Fred Osco was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree murder. The crime happened at a rural property near New Dayton. He was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years. The 70-year-old has been in jail for 21 years. Earlier this month, he submitted an application for early release. This week, Justice Neil Whitman released his decision. In it, he quoted a victim impact statement by the victim's son, saying his only comfort is knowing Osco is in prison and can't find him or his family. Osco will be eligible for parole again in 4 years. A Florida man caught at the Coots border crossing with a huge cache of weapons made a brief court appearance this morning. Border guards found 75 firearms, including 48 handguns, a blowgun, a pistol crossbow, and 12 high-capacity magazines in the man's pickup. It's the largest handgun seizure ever at the crossing. 54-year-old George Foster was arrested. He's facing 10 charges, but officials say other charges are pending. His case has been adjourned until March 15th. Regional police have made another dent in the local drug trade. Just after 9 o'clock last night, members of the Special Operations Unit executed a drug warrant on this home along the 1700 block of 13th Street North. Inside, police seized cocaine, marijuana, drug paraphernalia, and cash. Officers closed off the area and diverted traffic for nearly an hour last night. 35-year-old Heather Scout of Lethbridge and 20-year-old Chol Dang of Calgary each face a number of drug-related charges. Now let's check in with Dory and the Skywatch weather forecast. Dory, it's going to keep warming up.
It is. We have a few more days of really mild temperatures, Alicia, and that's because of a system moving across from BC, pushing in a warm front in advance of a cold front that's going to arrive on our doorstep Tuesday. But in between now and Tuesday, we've got some really nice temperatures. I'll tell you all about it in a couple of minutes.
Thanks, Tori. Workers at a southern Alberta ammonite mine have unearthed the remains of a long-extinct marine reptile. It's called a mosasaur, and it lived in Alberta between 70 and 74 million years ago. As Daryl Rummold reports, the fossilized remains were discovered south of Lethbridge last week while workers were digging for gemstones.
This is the tooth from the upper jaw, and this sort of lump right here is actually part of the upper jaw.
Encased in a large chunk of rock are the remains of a 74-million-year-old predator, one of the largest in its time, in fact. The mosasaur was once known as the T-Rex of the ocean.
Yeah, so that's trace as well. That's trace as well.
The more Donald Henderson and his team of technicians from the Royal Tyrrell Museum unearth, the more they learn.
The detail in the bone is absolutely amazing. The only thing that works against us was what happened in the past. Like this thing's clearly been scavenged by a shark. We already found some teeth, and the body's been pulled apart a bit. That's the biggest hurdle. If this thing had been left alone to quietly go in the seabed, it would be perfect.
The mosasaur was almost 4 meters long, with flippers, a large head, and sharp teeth, which researchers suspect were used to crack open the shells of other prehistoric marine animals.
One of the things we know is this animal's much lower, deeper in the ground than previous finds. So that means it's older, and it'll give us an idea of how these things evolved.
The mosasaur is not an uncommon discovery in southern Alberta. In fact, this is the second such finding at this particular mine site. They are said to be fairly populous in this area where the Arctic sea wave extended from the Arctic Ocean to what is now known as the Gulf of Mexico. Jordan Petherbridge works as a spotter at Corite International. 8 days ago, he noticed an odd formation in his bucket, a rounded shape he believed could possibly be a vertebrae. They quickly called museum staff, who have been chipping away at his find ever since.
Something other than what we find every day. So cool to break it up, and it's my first big find like this, so it's really cool.
The fossils will be shipped to Drumheller, where they will be carefully removed from the surrounding rock and prepared for further study. Daryl Rummold, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Technicians say it's unlikely this particular skeleton will be on display at the Royal Tyrrell because it had been scavenged, but the find still has scientific significance. Northern Alberta's harsh winter can be hard for those in the oil field, but one company is looking to improve the working conditions. 1-4 has created a portable, eco-friendly garage made specifically for the Northern Alberta climate. The unit is a Canadian product now being produced in Lethbridge. It's completely self-contained and has its own heating system or air conditioning when it gets warmer. The unit takes an hour to set up and can be used as a wash bay, garage, or machine shop.
We call it eco because we will not leave any footprint behind us when we leave. And also, if there's a leak of oil, we will hold it in our tank.
Once built, the unit expands to 30 feet wide by 40 feet long and 20 feet high. It can accommodate up to 65,000 pounds. Local high school students are putting their rivalries towards a good cause, rallying together for the annual Lethbridge High School Challenge. This is the 12th year Canadian Blood Services has put on this friendly competition, encouraging students over the age of 17 to donate blood. Catholic Central, Lethbridge Collegiate, Winston Churchill, and Chinook are all participating. Last year, Chinook lost its long-time title to a new competitor, Chinook High School. Chinook students say they're hoping to retain their title, but say either way, this kind of a challenge is a win-win.
Get as many people over the age of 17 at our school to donate and to just get that habit going with people, I guess. Not so much about the winning, but just getting that enforced.
We won last year and it was our first year as a school, so we want to win again this year and hopefully continue to beat Churchill for the years to come.
If you'd like to support your favorite high school, you can book an appointment by calling 188-2DONATE. The Interfaith Food Bank is hoping to cash in on some Elton John tickets. The organization is holding their first ever online silent auction to raise funds for their programs and services. The April 24th concert sold out in an hour. The food bank is hoping Elton John fans will be willing to bid a little bit extra for a pair of floor tickets. The auction got underway at 11 o'clock this morning and runs until March 31st. You can place a bid online at interfaithfoodbank.ca.